Realistically speaking, there's very little need to update the Boar Prime. The changes in build are minor at best. But this weapon will soon be getting an Incarnon Genesis adapter, and I feel like I'm saying goodbye to an old friend. Does that make any sense?
Get ready for a capsule.
Hey guys, welcome back as always, my name is Leyzar, and today we're going to be rediving deeper into the Boar Prime, a Mastery Rank 11 primary weapon. I'm going to be having a new player-oriented setup, but fear not, my veteran friends, we also got the Endgame setup. Prime mods, Galvanized mods, a Riven, take this puppy to Steel Path, put it through its paces. That said, please keep in mind that my building guides usually take a more new player friendly tone. That's because I want anybody watching to understand how the weapon functions and how it should be built. So in case you're a vet and you already know most of this stuff, please bear with me. And with that out of the way, let's jump into the Boar Prime. Let's begin by checking out how the weapon handles without any mods equipped, and for that, just a couple of our regular free shots. The Boar Prime is an automatic hit scan shotgun, and this one packs quite the punch, but it also packs quite the recoil and quite the spread as well. This is a true blue shotgun. Check out the standard 15-meter accuracy test. That's almost a perfect star-shaped formation. And if you're going to be getting close to your targets, even so, it's still not going to be good enough. Look at this. What is that? 5 meters to your target? Most of your pellets are going to be landing outside of the crosshairs, but it does make quite a nice shape on the wall. Not important. What is important? The fire rate on this one by default is absolutely fantastic, but the problem is the reload is on the lengthy side, and the magazine is only at 20. Needless to say, outside of the hit scan attack and the automatic fire mode, this one has some usability issues, but let's have a closer look at stats to see exactly what we're dealing with. Mod capacity is gonna be 60 out of 60, but if you just finish building your Boar Prime, it's gonna be 30 out of 30. Is it worth jumping into actions and installing the Auto King Catalyst? 100%, because you see this weapon is getting an Incarnon Genesis adapter hopefully soon. We know it's coming, we just don't know exactly when it's gonna come. My weapon has been formatted a total of 10 times. Now that shouldn't scare you off. I only format this much because I want to test all sorts of builds, mod combinations, etc. For the weapon build I'm recommending you can get away with something like free format, simply mod for the highest value mods. In most cases these will be V symbols or Madurai. The accuracy is terrible, ammo maximum is okay, ammo pickup is good, fall off between 18 and 25, which is still better than the latest shotgun to be released in Warframe, the Rauta, and that's like something 10, 20 or something of the sort, so the fall off is actually pretty good, but it doesn't matter because you don't have the accuracy as you saw earlier. Fire rate is good at 4.67, the magazine of 20 is okay, multi-shot of 8 by default. No multi-shot whatsoever on this weapon and you are firing 8 pellets at your enemies. If your enemies would be wolves, that is, of course. Noise alarming and the reload is an issue at 2.8 seconds. It's definitely too long for that 20 magazine capacity. Riven disposition, maxed out, 5 out of 5 because nobody plays with this weapon. And if I was you, I would use this as an excuse to get a bow Riven before the Incarnon Genesis adapter hits. But hey, trigger automatic, critical chance is gonna be 15%, which is, well, it's good enough. If you're gonna be taking into account critical deceleration, 200% critical chance, it bumps it up to 45, which is good enough for Hunter munitions again. But you know what? Enough of Hunter munitions, it bores the crap out of me. Status chance per projectile 11.2, and you might say, hey, hold on dude, 11.2, that's terrible. Per projectile you are firing 8 by default. The status chance of the weapon is actually sky high. Impact, puncture, and slash. The very large majority will be impact. And it's still bloody annoying, and it's still bloody annoying especially on shotguns that do not have an impact to slash mod. Hands off the keyboard. No, there's no impact to slash mod. Currently for shotguns, please D, this is not a suggestion for you to make one. Enough slash and enough vital. Now, let's check out a standard entry level setup. Damage at point blank, multi-shot with health chamber, critical chance and critical damage reduce, so critical deceleration and shrapnel shot. Now, you do have an option when it comes to critical damage. You can use Ravage, which is more reliable, but shrapnel shot is significantly better and easy to obtain. Now, I know you don't have all of the mods just yet, but you should prioritize shrapnel shot and start playing with on kill effects and while aiming because there's a lot of them and they're pretty powerful. 100 munitions for this build, and we also made Viral on the weapon for the use of Toxic Barrage and Chilling Reload. Chilling Reload is an amazing mod that fixes some of that reload. Now granted, 2 seconds is still not fantastic with a magazine of only 20, but it's still better than 2.8, and using 2 reload mods is simply not worth it. And Blaze on the weapon, 60% damage, 60% heat. Chilling Reload and Blaze are nightmare mods. You gotta do nightmare missions, and honestly, getting them is a bit more difficult than I would like, but you simply gotta. Keep in mind, they are tradable, so if you prefer to get out your wallet and buy them with plat, that is an option, but I would recommend you go to Nightmare missions because they're Nightmare in name only. Toxic Barrage is easily farmable from Corrupted War in the Void. Narrow Barrel. Narrow Barrel for the longest time was a mod that nobody really used, but you need it on the Boar Prime. Otherwise, most of your pellets are gonna end up in a wall, in the ground, or in the sky, not in your enemies. Make sure you get this one and unlock the Excellus slot. It will mean actual real world DPS because, you know, doesn't matter if you have a million pellets if you're not going to use them on your targets. We're going to be testing out the weapon like so. With good old Rhino, even though he has more of a updated skin. This is the deck skin for Rhino that you can get during the Warframe yearly celebration. Now, what we're going to be spawning is level 120 Corrupted Heavy Gunners without the Steel Path modifier. Let me tell you why. This is a Mastery Rank 11 weapon. These are not super high level targets, but then again, neither is this weapon. So let's see how she handles. These guys are still above Sortie Free and above what MR11 players should see. So with a slash build, hit a target at about 50%, then watch it die. You know what it dies from? Let me tell you what it dies from. 17 slash procs on that guy, but not only that, it's a combination between the slash procs, the heat procs, and very important, the viral procs as well, which essentially increases all the damage that the damage over time procs deal. So do bear that one in mind. Look at that. Melting your targets with great ease. Now this is a way you can build a weapon, and the only reason I'm showing you this is because it's the most effective way. But honestly, we've been playing like this, and I kid you not, for what, guys? 3 years? 4 years? It's honestly boring for us, but it might not be boring for you. Another option for you would be to build for flat damage. Forget about procs, forget about damage over time, forget about all of that nonsense, and shift your focus to as much contact damage as possible. Corrosive on the weapon for the use of Toxic Barrage and Charged Shell, and you also still retain heat from Blaze. We also got more multi-shot with Vigilante armaments. Ideally, you would want everything with the 90 mods, or if you got the Prime Charged Shell one, but because of my format configuration and the endgame setup that I gotta show you, we're gonna go like so against the same targets as before. So you saw how a couple of shots could melt the target if you had the patience to wait for the procs to deal the damage. What this build does is essentially kill your targets with raw damage. This is another option you can go for. Is it as powerful as 100 munitions and slash? Nah. That's what I said. It's not as powerful. It is the most powerful thing you can build on the weapon. But if you prefer going for raw damage, that big boom, 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 then definitely a raw damage approach with something like corrosive and heat is definitely something that you can explore. And that concludes the new player portion of the guide. If you're more of a veteran, you already know how to build, don't you? But in case you want a second opinion, then you're looking at something like this. Galvanized Shell, Galvanized Savvy, yes, it does work on the weapon as it should. Of course, we're going to be using Prime Charge Shell, Prime Ravage, Prime Point Blank. You got a lot of flat damage on the weapon through the use of Prime Point Blank, Toxic Garage, God. And Galvanized Savvy. In your arcane slot, go with Shotgun Vendetta. This one grants you 180% multi-shot, which is absolutely huge. Technically, 180% multi-shot is the combination of Vigilante armaments and Hell's Chamber. Plus, you also get that 75% reload speed, which you absolutely need, considering the reload of 2.8 seconds. This one works a treat on the Boar Prime. As you can see, this is not a Hunter Munitions setup. You want to build Hunter Munitions, you already know how to. Hunter Munitions and Viral on the weapon. This time, however, we're gonna go straight off for raw damage. You got your Impact, Puncture, Slash, and your Corrosive for your Galvanized Savvy to keep generating that flat damage. We're not going to be testing, however, against Corrupted Heavy Gunners level 120. Instead, what we're going to be doing is pumping up the level to 165. Not only that, we're also going to be enabling the Steel Path modifiers, which make a big difference in the survivability or EHP of the enemy target. Go for headshots as per usual, and as you can see, you can actually annihilate high-level Steel Path targets with just raw damage alone. But here's the thing, past this level, when you reach 300 or something of the sort, your raw damage approach is simply gonna lose traction really quickly. You gotta go for the damage over time approach, the whole hunter munitions and vital. But you know what? Personally, I enjoy this kind of gameplay style. I don't know if it's the memories of yesteryear when corrosive was the element to have on essentially everything and it would just melt targets down, or I'm simply bored of procs and damage over time on everything. Well, you let me know which one do you prefer in the comment section down below. Oh, and by the way, I can hear you screaming, instead of prime cleanse of whatever, I don't like faction mods either. You can go for more multi-shot. You can even add more raw damage, but at this point, I wouldn't go any further considering you already got prime point blank and galvanized savvy. So more multi-shot would be good. Not only that, you can also do the following, add another 60-60 heat mod in the form of Scattering Inferno or Blaze. But again, that 60% damage, not interested right now in that. To further increase the power of the weapon, you gotta get yourself a Riven, and again, right now, at the time of recording, I checked Warframe market right before, Rivens were going between 20 and 30 plats, so I'm not assuming that the prices will be exploding. Get yourself a Riven and wait for that Incarnon Genesis adapter. If you're a newbie and you're still watching, hey, you should not throw away the Boar Prime, because I'm pretty sure that Incarnon Genesis adapter is going to rock. Now, let's see the change with a Riven. It's a minus impact Riven. Minus impact is not as sought after as it once was once upon a time, but it's still something to bear in mind when you're rolling Rivens. What do you know? It's better with no stacks, and it's significantly better with stacks. Look at that, look at that. Now, my friends, you are cooking with gas. That's what I'm talking about. You can even get to one-shot territory with a build such as this. Now, I hear what you're saying. Dude, shooting standing still targets hardly sportsmanlike. Yeah, you have a point. Welcome to the Void. Now let's see what the Boar Prime can do. Yes, a whole lot of fire rate because of the arcanes I have on Revenant. Didn't I tell you I got fire rate from Tempo? That is a shotgun only arcane. And we also got a little bit of critical chance from Arcane Avenger, and I'm using it in combination with Combat Discipline. And I also got a Panzerful Profiler with me for the vital proc. So yes, I'm a lean, mean killing machine, as you can see. Yes, you can absolutely wreck normal level steel path with something like the Boar Prime. My only concern is still that stupid reload. Even with the increase from the arcane, it's still not all that fantastic. Do you run out of ammo? Yeah, sometimes I do run out of ammo, because as you can see, I essentially keep on spraying with a shotgun. And yes, the weapon absolutely annihilates whatever stands before it. The only issue it has, dude, what about punch through? You know what? Punch through would have been a really good idea when you got this many enemies clumped up. This is a survival, but again, when it comes to the actual performance of the weapon, what can I tell you? It wrecks. It wrecks house. Will it wreck house at level 5000? Nah, no it won't. But it will wreck house for normal level steel path, which is something that most players don't do anyway. This is the kind of performance you can expect. The only thing I could still show you would be Acolyte performance. Fine. There she is, or it is. I don't know. Malice. Are you the one with the bubble? Nope. But that got absolutely shreked. Right when the shield fell off, the target was essentially melted away. This is the kind of performance you can expect out of the weapon. It is absolutely sensational, and I highly recommend it. You can melt an Acolyte quite easily, but again, considering this is a raw damage approach, it's gonna be falling off the higher the enemies get. However, you can always opt for a hunter munitions approach if you want to. That, as per usual, is gonna be your option. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like, favorite, channel, subscribe only if you enjoy the content. If you got any feedback from me, I would love to read it in the comment section down below. Also in the comment section down below, if you want to suggest any particular type of content, like, hey, I would like to see this weapon build, that weapon build, and so on and so forth. Oh, and don't forget to check out Texar, my brand new tech channel. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.